Physical therapists interested in borrower's defense, please pay attention. If you saw my first video, this is the massive follow-up to that based on all the comments and questions I've been getting. Now, if you Google DPTpreneur borrower's defense, you will get this article. It's going to be a blog. Go read it. It's a very, very, very long article, but it tells you what to do if you graduated pre-2020 or after. I was delayed making this video because I ran the Spartan Beast and fucked up my hand this past weekend. That's besides the point. My main point is this though. For this specifically, if you were sold the Doctor of the Future Vision 2020, you may have a case under the code, but you need to present exhibits and facts and do things. And not everyone's going to qualify, especially those who had private loans. It's going to be a lot harder. It breaks this down in this article. Now, what I'm going to say is this. If you actually look at the DOE, they never considered PT a professional degree. They just sold it that way. As someone that went to other schools that are considered professional degrees, I will tell you that they were a lot harder than PT school. And I'm going to say this too, is I don't think a few PTs should be considered professionals. And the reason I'm saying this, and I know my cohort and who I work with in the PT space are all the degenerates, the traders, the disenfranchised PTs who are pissed off, and they resonate with me because I call out and I help them build businesses and make money. Now, what I'm going to say is this, and why I say this is I remember telling people, you know, even in PT school about how both my parents died and I was struggling and I just got made fun of and whatever. And then after, I'll tell my story about my mom had cancer, and the American Cancer Society actually paid for all of our Christmas presents because we were so broke that year. My mom had cancer. And there's people in the PT profession that have said, good, your mom should have died then. I'm glad that happened to you. Even when I was going to law school, the people in the PT profession went in my private Discord, tried to screenshot shit and tried to get me kicked out of my law school. And so it's one of these things where I don't think half of you deserve to be considered professionals because of those actions. I never did any of those people. They went out to cyber stalk me, cyber bully me, and they are considered professionals, but all anonymously. Now we have the FBI investigating them and doing a few other things, which is fine because they're probably face up to a year of jail time for that shit. But it's one of these things, why I don't talk about half this shit anymore, is because I do not think that half of them deserve to be professionals. Now, that being said, before I go off and do all the tax stuff you guys know I do now and everything else business-wise, this is my last contribution really to this profession. I'm done. I'm going to help my current clients, those that want to work with me, will help you grow businesses, will help you make money in trading. I really don't give a fuck. But I am done. I'm done with this profession. This article is written. It is there. It's my last contribution to this profession. This profession has been nothing but pure fuckery, in my opinion. Why I don't think it's a professional degree. Law school was way harder. And even the fucking bar exam is way harder than the board exam. So I kind of get it, right? But that all being said, what I want you guys to understand is that if you feel like you have a case, please read this article. If you paid off federal loans, you may be able to be forgiven, but you have to use it correctly. Use AI to scrape the web. Use different things. Present a strong case, and you may actually get your money back because you read about being the doctor of the future. So this is my follow-up video to this, and it's probably the most honest and authentic one you're going to get from anybody on this platform. And it's one of these things where I know we've had to file issues with Section 230 for platforms like Reddit, encouraging dogpiling and bringing people down and doing all these things that's just purely illegal and not professional. So I know I've made some offensive content. I know I've rage baited a few people. But the fact that it trickled into my personal life, where I never specifically targeted anybody, but people got so triggered by simple content, I don't think the majority of you deserve to be professionals until that behavior gets called out and changed.